Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the new episode of Dev and the Bear. Today we're going to talk about UFC 265 and the results, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming semifinals in PFL. But let's start with the UFC 265 card. I feel like from start to finish on the prelims, every single fight was exciting.
Yeah.
If it didn't end in a finish, which I think that there was only one decision, maybe two, they were crazy fights. They were all very, very fun. Everybody went out there and fought their heart out.
Shout out to Manel Cape for finally getting his first win in the
Getting
UFC.
that flying knee knockout,
Yeah.
that was so nice.
It really sucks that he missed the weight, but still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his name's out there. He's got something that
yeah.
people can attach to it, and that's a flying knee knockout. That's always a good thing. You always want that. But we'll go ahead and jump into the main card, which is kind of where things started slowing down, which is unfortunate if you paid $60 for it.
Yes, it was.
So it starts off, and you have Song Yadong and Casey Kinney. Was that the opener of the?
Yes.
Yeah, main card. It was fun. It was a good fight. I feel like neither guy really landed shots that were really close to putting the fight away. No one really got anything going, but Song looked good. He looked better than Kenny did, and that's how he got the decision.
It's kind of what I expected.
Yeah, Kenny just got a little outclassed, and again, I think it's because he just kind of sits back a lot, and when he's throwing, he's very stationary. He's not moving. He's not using any footwork. He's not using any head movement. He's just throwing his hands, and I think Yadong really took advantage of that.
Yeah, I noticed that in the Dominic Cruz fight. It was like he's very heavy on his feet, and it's like, man, like you can't really move. Like I understand if that works for you, if it works for you, keep doing it. But against these guys, I mean, that guy's he gets it. He knows he's a professional. But it's like, when you fight a guy like Dominic Cruz, Song Yadong's on the come up.
Yeah,
dude is very good.
And once he go ahead.
And so it's like, once like I'm sure you're gonna say, once he got that momentum going, it just couldn't. It was just his fight the whole fight. And I mean, you got to mix it up a little bit. You have guys who have phenomenal footwork all through the bantamweight division.
Yeah, and that's when he's going to start running into problems, is people who are maybe not necessarily utilizing head movement or footwork like Dominic Cruz, but people who just are very agile and are moving around and have some energy the whole fight. You're going to have trouble hitting them. And if you stay stationary when you're throwing like that, it's not going to work, because you're going to be chasing them, and all they're going to be doing is moving out of the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Song Yadong got the decision win, and that'll take us to Tisha Torrez and Angela Hill. That fight was very surprising. Another good one, but very surprising. I didn't expect Tisha Torrez to come out swinging like she did.
I didn't either.
And she looked good. She did use a lot of wrestling in it, but it wasn't like going to the ground. It was keeping Angela Hill where she wanted her.
I don't think that first round, there was one takedown.
I don't think so.
They stood up the whole first round. The second round is like when they got to the ground, she was just really able to utilize what she's good at. But I didn't expect her striking to be
better than Angela Hill's.
To be as improved as it is. I mean, they fought. There was a little bit of trash talk going into this fight. Angela Hill did say that she said this Tisha Torrez would accept the fight, but she pretty much said, like, you beat me pre-USADA, like, and look how you've done since USADA's came in, which is a good point.
Yeah.
And so Tisha Torrez was like, no, like, I get to make you pay for saying that because I'm just a better fighter than you. I beat you then, I'm gonna beat you now. And it really sucks watching Angela Hill lose. But it was like, Tisha Torrez just looked good. She was landing great body kicks. She was mixing it up very well with her jab, and able to utilize on Angela Hill coming in, because Angela Hill was a taller fighter. She was a longer fighter, but she was able to utilize her coming in and be the faster fighter still.
Yeah. I think that fight was pretty similar to the co-main event.
Yeah.
Actually. But yeah, Tisha Torrez got the decision. Very dominant performance. I didn't expect it in the way that it was. I expected it to be wrestling, and it wasn't. And that was cool. Definitely cool to see.
Yeah.
I hope that she can start utilizing her boxing more in future fights.
Yeah, because it makes for exciting fighters, especially in that division, strawweight division.
They need it. They need someone who can be a real challenger.
Yeah.
That'll take us to Michael Chiesa and Vicente Luque, which is one of only two finishes on the main card. And that one, again, I think that was actually a pretty exciting fight.
That was my favorite fight on the main card.
We definitely called it. It was okay on the feet, and once it got to the ground, it got really interesting.
Yeah.
You had Michael Chiesa holding the rear naked, kind of a weird figure four lock on his legs, so he didn't quite have the positioning he would have wanted, and that's what allowed Luque to slip out of it. But he had that rear naked tight, and Luque just wasn't going to tap. Once Luque got out of it, he started working to get his positioning, and once he got it, it was just downhill from there for Chiesa.
Yeah.
Slipping into the Darce choke.
And so, like, even leading up to that, when they started on the feet, Luque's pressure on the feet surprised me. I know he's a pressuring fighter, but it was enough to make Michael Chiesa very uncomfortable until he went to the ground. Michael Chiesa was stumbling over his feet, and he was just kind of walking in circles trying to avoid Luque and wasn't really doing anything with it, wasn't really trying to throw anything out there to kind of stick and move a little bit. But so I was surprised to see how I mean, I probably shouldn't have been surprised to see that Luque was going to have the better stand-up.
Yeah, we had talked about that before.
Yeah.
We knew that was going to be the case.
Just feel more comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really a stand-up fight.
Chiesa's shown that his hands aren't so bad, but Luque's for sure got the better stand-up. I don't think that anybody really questioned that.
Yeah. And like you said, too, whenever the fight got to the ground, watching that Darce choke get put in, I feel like Chiesa was not doing a very good job at defending it. I feel like the second he got put in, he was like, oh, crap, what do I do? And he just kind of got thrown off by it, and then eventually when Luque got it in. But really liked what you said last week, though, was, you know, when it comes to jiu-jitsu and training for MMA and, you know, working on the ground, is like, yeah, sometimes, you know, belts really don't matter. You know, that's how Michael Chiesa feels. But, you know, you have somebody like Vicente Luque, who is a very close training partner with Gilbert Burns, who still actively competes in world competitions for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So watching that get put in, I mean, it was nice. It's fourth win by Darce choke in the UFC, and second in a row. You know, he got Tyron Woodley with it last time too.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously this is his move. He's really good at it. So
yeah, I feel like when you have jiu-jitsu at his level, the belts still don't matter.
Yeah.
But it's who he trains with, the kind of experience he gets every single day. That stuff is what matters, and that's why he has his black belt.
It sets you apart.
Yeah.
You know?
He doesn't have his black belt because he stayed with a gym for so long and competed under their name. Mm-hmm. He earned his black belt through experience and hard work.
Yeah.
So it showed the second they got into the positions he wanted it to be in, he took advantage of it, and he just kept bettering it each time. Each time there was any kind of weight displacement or movement from Chiesa, he took advantage of it. So,
yeah, and so kind of leading out of the fight, there was a lot of respect shown. You know, Michael Chiesa, he was upset, but I mean, it was just a hard fight because I'm a big fan of both. I didn't really want anybody to lose, but so Gilbert Burns has let a quote since the win and said he will not fight Vicente Luque. He's like, that's my real brother. Like, that's my brother. I'm not gonna fight him. And for me, it kind of irritates me. I mean, at the end of the day, like, for example, like, you're one of my best friends. I've known you since I was like 10 or 11. But if we were in the UFC and it came down to it, like, okay, we gotta see who's the better one. And when we were actually in the same weight class, I would fight you. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, and I know you would tell me yes too, because it's just like, you know, if you're in the UFC, you're with the best of the best, and you want to prove that you can hang with them.
Plus, having to do those press events is not going to be nearly as fun with people you don't really know that well, and you know, if you aren't someone who really wants to try to sell the fight, it's that much harder with people you don't know. But if you have somebody you know, it's just easy because all you gotta do is talk. That's all it is. And it's a lot easier to talk crap with your friends.
Like Kamaru Usman when he fought Gilbert Burns. I mean, it's like, well, you fought him. What's the difference? So, what, you know, it's like y'all used to be training partners. I know that Kamaru left, and I'm very happy that he left. And Henry Hoof is a bad coach, but I think he's getting a much better coach in Trevor Whitman. But it's like, you have to fight this guy. Like, if you want to fight for the title again, if you're going to call out guys like Jorge Masvidal, Leon Edwards, or Nate Diaz, well, Luque is right next to you, man. Like, your buddy's right next to you, and you're not going to get the title shot before he does. You're coming off one win since the title shot.
And honestly, I feel like the best fight to make to see who gets the title shot after Colby Covington, after Leon Edwards, is going to be Burns and
Yeah.
Luque. That's the best. As far as rankings go, momentum and height, that's the best one, but you'll never get it.
Right.
And to be honest, I don't even think that if they did fight, I don't think the buildup would be very good. I don't think it would be very marketable.
Neither of the guys talk very much shit to, so.
It wouldn't sell very well. So I don't think it'll happen, even if they were somewhat open to fighting each other. But
yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. But if you want to be the best, like, look who's in front of you. It happens to be that guy. I mean, I'm sure it's probably going to be a little awkward at the gym before and after the fight, but it is what it is.
Doesn't have to be. I mean, look at like guys like Donald Cerrone and
Yancy Medeiros.
But I was going to say Melvin Gillard.
Yeah.
They were best friends, and they beat the crap out of each other.
And I think Melvin just left Greg Jackson's when that fight happened.
I don't even think he left. I think they were still training with
partners.
Training
together?
Yeah. They were like, we train together every single day. We are training partners.
I know Pete Sells, was that his name?
Pete Sell?
Pete Sell and with Scott Smith, they were friends.
Yeah.
When they fought. That was back in the day. But who else? I mean, there's so many of these fighters who just don't do that. I notice it's a lot with these Brazilian fighters. They won't fight each other.
Yeah, Anderson Silva, Leonardo Machida, Glover.
Yeah, Glover talked about whenever they made the fight with him and who did he fight last? That he looked really good against Thiago Santos. They talked about that fight, and he said that the Brazilian fans get upset about that because it's like, well, they're pitting them against each other. It's like, man, like it's not a team sport.
Yeah, and no one's being pitted against each other. It's a fight.
Yeah,
it's a fight game. Got to fight people. But it's definitely not limited to just Brazilians. You got DC and Gane.
Yeah.
They were supposed to fight, and they weren't going to.
Yeah.
So DC went down division. It's like, is that what Gilbert Burns is going to do? He's going to go down in division? He can't make that cut. And if he did, he's not going to be the same fighter he is at welterweight.
He was very drained at lightweight. That was before he was even fighting at welterweight.
So I don't know what happens there, but I'm sure that it involves Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
I think Leon Edwards should just get the title shot, but I'm sure something with him and Luque or Burns involves Leon Edwards.
Yeah, I could see it being Luque and Edwards up next, just because
that would be a fun fight, though.
Yeah, because the reason why I feel that way too, though, is just because Gilbert Burns is, I mean, like I said, he's 1-0 since his last title fight.
He's got to work his way up, but lots of people should work their way up and don't have to.
Yeah.
So
I mean, give him the loser of Covington and Usman too. So I think that makes a lot of sense as well. And so, but yeah. So for the co-main event, we had Jose Aldo take on Pedro Munoz. Yeah. I don't know why I almost said Yancy Medeiros. Take on Pedro Munoz in just a very one-sided fight.
That's the one that I had likened to the Tisha Torrez and Angela Hill fight, and the reason being is the way Aldo was the smaller fighter.
Yes. They're about the same size.
They're about the same size, but
you look at him and it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Smaller fighter, but faster.
Yeah.
And they were throwing straights. Aldo was throwing some heavy straights that whole fight. And Pedro Munoz just couldn't keep up with it. And it was the same thing with Angela Hill. She couldn't keep up with the straights from Tisha Torrez. And he was mixing it up as well. Aldo was mixing it up. Pedro Munoz, I don't think he looked bad. He just didn't look ready for the speed.
Not at all.
And that's pretty much what won Aldo that fight from start to finish. Was he's just so much faster.
I wonder what it's like being like with Munoz as well, because he just mentally just looked behind. Yeah. If he knows he's in there fighting one of the best Brazilian fighters of all time, he's also Brazilian as well. Going against one of the best Brazilian fighters of all time, it's like that guy's right in front of you and he's punching you in the face, But he looked a step behind, and it happens with him a lot, especially whenever he fought Aljamain Sterling. He was a step behind the whole fight. He just got dominated.
Again, it was the guy throwing straights, coming at him, not necessarily straights, but coming at him with different angles.
Yeah.
Things that'll catch you off guard, not necessarily speed with Sterling. Not that he isn't fast, but in that fight, he wasn't really using speed. He was using more of just combinations, mixing it up, changing levels, ground. Like, he was doing everything in that fight. Like you said, he just wasn't ready for it. So, back to the drawing board for Munoz. And figure some stuff out.
Since then, Jose Aldo is talking about. It throws me off because I remember watching him in the WC. They called him Jose, and they never corrected anybody, and now they call him Jose. So I guess it's a Portuguese way to pronounce that. Jose Aldo said he believes that a fight between him and TJ Dillashaw makes sense.
I think it does too.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Recovery-wise, it makes sense because both of them are going to need a little bit of time and then time for a camp. And if they both really do want to get in there as soon as possible, that it makes sense. The only thing I disagree with is TJ Dillashaw is more or less in line for a title shot.
Yeah.
Aldo, not so much.
I don't think he should get a title shot.
Yeah.
If he were to fight TJ and win. The other thing is TJ said he can't train again until December because he jacked his knee up real bad.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Recovery, he's having surgery on his knee.
Yeah.
So recovery-wise, it makes sense because Aldo's going to have to take time off. He's going to have to train again. Dillashaw has to take time off, and then he's going to have to train again. So it makes sense, I think, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Dillashaw takes that fight.
No, I don't. I don't think so either, and also because he knows that that's gonna put him in such jeopardy for the title fight again.
Yeah.
Because right now it's if he was to get the title fight, how much people aren't gonna agree with it at all because it was the controversial decision that happened with him and Corey Sandhagen, and so I feel like he should have one more fight to prove a point. I think if TJ comes back, him and Jose Aldo will be fun. I think a fight with him and Rob Font.
Yeah.
I would like to see
Rob Font one makes more sense.
Yeah, Rob Font makes a lot more sense because. Especially if you want a title fight, if you want to prove it, you prove a point.
He said he called out Corey Sandhagen because he was one of the top guys. He was a scary guy. Nobody wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Rob Font's the same thing.
Yeah.
Go out there and put him away. Prove your point.
And what's crazy about him is how technical he was his last fight. Same thing, stick and move. And so on to the main event. We had Derrick Lewis and Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title. A lot of people agreed with his interim title. A lot of people didn't.
I didn't.
I did. Actually, excuse me. I don't think a lot of fucking people didn't agree with the interim title.
Ridiculous. It makes no sense. I'm not buying into the narrative that Francis Ngannou's I'm not buying into the narrative they're trying to spin where, poor Francis, he's being mistreated and nothing good's coming his way. I don't really think that. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Yeah.
You're going to have to fight the number one contender? You're going to do that anyway. So what does it matter?
I think it was a story of with him in the title shot was more of he doesn't live in the U.S. He trains in the U.S. So in 2 months, you wouldn't be ready to take on Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, but that was it. It doesn't make sense at all to do an interim.
Yeah.
But I just want to put it out there. I don't agree with Francis's story. Or it's not even so much. It's him, but I think it's more of his coaching. They're making it out to be the UFC's treating him poorly.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do feel treated poorly because it's a little unfair what Dana White's expecting him to do.
Yeah.
Against such guys like Lewis and Gane, but they're not mistreating you. It's not logical or fair, but it's not. I wouldn't call it mistreating, but it's completely unnecessary to have an interim belt.
Yeah, no, it makes it, especially when the champion is healthy. So it just I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me wrong.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to point out. The one thing I'd like to point out is that Cyril Gane is also outside of the U.S. with his training with MMA Factory in France, where he used to train, where Francis Ngannou used to train. They train together. There's a lot of sparring footage of them out there now, but he took the fight with Derrick Lewis.
Yeah. Derrick Lewis took it on short notice as well. So I guess if you want to be the best in the world and you want that title that bad, then it's sometimes you gotta take these short notice fights. So yeah, I mean I agree with your point though. That is a fair point because I feel like Francis, he knew that fight was coming, and he should have been ready for it. I mean it was already in talks the second that Curtis Blades got knocked out by Derrick Lewis.
The second he knocked out Curtis Blades,
they're putting him for the title shot. But so on to the fight though. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
so sad.
Yeah, I mean we both are such big fans of Cyril Gane.
Yeah,
but we're H-Town boys. We don't want to see our guy lose.
I fucking love Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, the whole world does at this point.
Yeah.
Having a pride in him because he's from Houston made it a lot harder.
I will be honest though. I think out of all of his lines though, like I hear my balls was hot so many fucking times.
Yeah.
And I'm
gets
like,
old.
My thing is, I was like, I think he said a lot more funnier things.
Yeah, I think saying he was gonna fold Cyril Gane like a French fry made me laugh because Cyril Gane's French.
You know, where Ronda Rousey's fine ass at after he fucking decapitates her husband.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's perfect. So I think that kind of tops the list. But so it was just, I mean, Cyril Gane did what he does best. He's really good at switching stances, and he came out southpaw.
Yeah.
He is an orthodox fighter though, right?
Yes.
And it throws these guys off.
He's so good at switching stances.
And he just dominated the fight. Derrick Lewis do have some good moments. He threw combinations. He threw that flying switch kick as well. But it was just Cyril Gane's fight, and it came to a quick, and Derrick Lewis was exhausted. And I mean, he did his best, but your best can only do so much against a force like Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things where it's like, you know, everyone's talking about Derrick Lewis like, oh, he has terrible footwork, he has bad boxing, he has bad head movement. That is Derrick Lewis.
Yeah. When did he ever have good footwork?
Yeah.
When did he have footwork? Period.
Yeah.
He stands there and he waits for a right hand. Like, that's what he's good at, and it works every time. But once you get to a certain level, you're going to fight guys like Cyril or Stipe or Francis, where it's not going to work. And I know he beat Francis in a boring decision, but the Francis now would not lose to Derrick Lewis of Saturday night. He would never lose to that. So I think there's got to be some changes. He knows that, and I think he's gradually been making these changes. But now it's more of like, hey, you need to do it or you're not going anywhere with this.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of fans bashing his coaches.
Yeah, and Bob Perez is fantastic.
Bob Perez is fucking great. He's a great coach, and he seems like, I don't know him personally, but I've heard great things about him as well. He's out of Houston, Main Street Muay Thai down in Houston, Texas as well. And he coaches serious talent. Our friend Jeremy used to coach right there as well. He coached right there.
He helped out.
But he worked out right there. He
trained out of there. He started coaching there, and then after a bit he moved to Heritage after they had all split.
And I mean, even then, just I don't think that his coaches don't push on him enough. I think it is Derrick Lewis, and if you try to tell Derrick Lewis what to do, he's not gonna fucking do it. You know.
I would say it's less that he's not gonna do it. It's more of what he does is hard to argue against.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do what he's comfortable doing. And he's working on things. Clearly, he's working on things. He threw a freaking flying switch kick like that. I really doubt that early Derrick Lewis would do that.
No.
So they're clearly working on stuff. He's clearly working on getting out of his comfort zone, but it showed that he's not ready to do stuff at the level it takes to be champion yet.
No, and it sucks because he's not young either.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the changes need to be made sooner than later, because otherwise you're not going anywhere.
And so, man, it just sucks to see it. But I know coming in this fight, I was asked about it, and I got shit because I was talking about how good Cyril Gane is, even though he's not the most exciting fighter for some people. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's maybe because I'm a purist when it comes to looking at both sides of the coin, or it's just like that maybe Cyril Gane is just that fucking good. Like,
I think it's because we're not casuals.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. I fucking
David.
We have a fucking
Knowles.
podcast about this shit, dude. We know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, we're pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're pretty cool.
Obviously, we know what we're talking about. I mean, you should tune in and you should
regardless
listen more.
of the podcast.
And
just
so,
we know what we're talking about. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't take much to look at Cyril Gane and know, hey, this guy can win against anybody. So it's frustrating to acknowledge that Derrick Lewis's opponents are good fighters and better than him.
Yeah, all of it. It makes me laugh, like, cause all of his opponents are better than him, but he's gonna win. He just wins. Yeah. He only needs one.
Just like he just gets up, he just wins.
Yeah.
So.
And so, now following that victory by Cyril Gane, now we have Cyril Gane versus Francis Ngannou for the heavyweight title. Hopefully that happens this year so we can finally see it defended. I'm sure Francis Ngannou, he's actually training now. I saw he's even, like, in his free time now, he's actually going in and practicing. And But it's also like, who's next after the who gets the winner. You have Stipe Miocic, who's actively trying to fight, even in talks with the one championship as well.
Yeah.
And John Jones says he doesn't want to fight Stipe. He's not interested in it, and so it's just, I don't know. We just gotta sit back and watch it play out for the heavyweight picture right now.
Yeah. Between Ngannou and Gane.
Yeah.
Which that's going to get annoying to say, Cyril and Francis.
Yeah.
I think Francis has to go in there and fight the way he fought Stipe.
Yeah.
Because Cyril doesn't get hit.
No.
He's good at not getting hit. He's good at keeping you from hitting him, not just by evading, but also countering.
Yeah, I don't think he has that one punch knockout power.
No. You're talking about Cyril, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, God forbid you were talking about Francis.
Yeah, it's like Francis doesn't even hit that hard, dude.
Yeah, I could take it. So, yeah, that was UFC 265. Really exciting undercard, really exciting prelims.
Do you think it's thrown? This is off topic, but sorry to cut you off. But do you think it's weird watching somebody who's as good as Cyril Gane and no one cares?
Yeah, I always think that stuff's weird. He's definitely when you're a heavyweight and you're a point fighter, it's weird. No one likes that, and that's kind of how he fights, or at least that's how the last few of his fights have been. Yeah. It's not his fault. He's good and knows how to win.
Yeah, true. So, I don't know. It's just on my mind. I was like, that's a good question to ask you. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like the main card is very underwhelming.
It was.
Yeah.
There were good fights. There were some surprising moments. But just we were a little spoiled with how the fights were started.
Yeah, exactly. So, it can't always go so good, right? So, no such thing as a perfect show. That's what.
And you're probably asking, then why aren't y'all talking about it? It's because we got plenty of other stuff to talk about, like with PFL having one of their semifinal cards on the 13th. That's going to have, let's see, for the welterweight, it's going to have Ray Cooper and Roy McDonald, which that's the fight everybody's waiting for.
Yeah,
I think that's the championship fight right there.
Tuning into these fights, it's gonna be a very fun fight to watch.
And then Clay Collard and Raush Manfio, both of those guys beat Anthony Pettis to get there. Clay Collard beat, who did he beat last time? I don't even remember, but he's won his fights. Mm-hmm. He earned his way up there. So the winner of Collard and Manfio is going to be fighting the winner of McDonald and Cooper, and I feel like it's going to be Clay Collard and McDonald.
Is that
nope.
Lightweight and welterweight?
Yep.
It confuses me. You threw me off.
My bad. I'm just excited about those fights. So
it's a good
fight. Together in my head.
But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what Ray Cooper comes in and does for Rory McDonald. Clay Collard, he's been on a good rush since this season of the PFL has started. So it's kind of, I don't know. If you're going to see, the fights are happening this August 13th this week, and if you have the time, give them a watch. They are typically on ESPN or ESPN Plus for free. Well, not for free.
The winner of McDonald and Cooper is going to be fighting Sadiq Usai and Magomed Karimov. One of those names. That fight's going to be a fun one.
Yep.
But for sure, the ones I'm most excited for are Clay Collard and Raush Manfio and Roy McDonald and Ray Cooper. The other fight for the lightweight is going to be Alexander Martinez and Loic Radzhabov, who is coming off a crazy knockout win. So,
yeah,
that one's going to be really freaking fun too. I'm really excited for these PFL cards and the season closing up because
I've been antsy, waiting for these fights to come back, dude, because they've been fucking crazy.
And they have them so clumped together that you have to wait these long periods of time in between.
Yeah.
So you kind of are like you're left without it for a while, and it sucks. Yep.
And so, also, what's it called? We were going to discuss the PFL 8 card happening next week as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this card because Denis Golslav, somebody like what's it called? I really enjoyed watching his fight against Brandon Sells.
It was very impressive.
Yeah, he did great. We got Kayla Harrison as well coming in. She's gonna be the main event as usual because she is definitely a prize fighter, in my opinion.
Hey,
Olympic gold medalist.
I was about to say the Olympics are finishing up right now.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison was a judo gold medalist. Was it 2016 or 20?
I believe so.
Yeah. And she's going to be taking on Gina Fabian, and that fight's going to get a little interesting. Gina Fabian's pretty good on the ground, but it's hard to believe that anyone's on the level of Kayla Harrison.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that fight goes. And then for the other side of that coin, you have Larissa Pacheco and Taylor Guardado. There's a D in there.
Oh.
Just like Goltsov. It's not Goldslav.
Oh. Fuck. It's okay.
I see it being Pacheco and Harrison fighting.
Pacheco knocked that girl out her last fight, right?
Yeah, she did.
Like in the first round?
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal.
Nuts. Yeah. I see them two being the finalists, but we'll find out on is that the 19th? Yeah,
yep.
The 19th.
I'm always excited for these PFL cards on the Verdict app because I do really, really well with these cards, and they help me move up so much. But I guess something to get on to a little bit of MMA news. So we know that if you kind of keep up with it a little bit, that Sean Brady is out for his fight against Kevin Lee. He has a very severe foot infection right now. And Kevin Lee is trying to find a last-minute replacement. He called out Michael Chiesa, who just fought. He called out Bilal Muhammad. He called out Mike Perry. And all three of them said, no, I'm good.
I wouldn't mind seeing Kevin Lee fight Mike Perry.
I think it'd be fun, but Mike Perry just said that he's just trying to he's trying to work on himself right now.
Life.
Yeah, whatever the fuck he's doing. Check out Mike Perry. What's it called?
More like check on Mike Perry.
Check on. Or if you want to know about what the fuck am I trying to say? If you want to know about Mike Perry, listen to our first episode. We went on for like a fucking hour. And so, but yeah, so he just said he's like, right now is just not a good time for me. I'm trying to really come back stronger. And Bilal Muhammad said it's just a little too soon for him to fight August 29th. He said he's okay to do it at UFC 266. Yeah, so he's down. So at least he didn't really turn down the fight. He just said that's just too soon for me to make. Yeah. And I'm sure. And then Michael Chiesa, since they fought, their careers have gone completely different paths.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like that fight makes sense for
for Chiesa. Yeah, Chiesa. It doesn't. But I mean, you just basically had your title run shattered. So start over. Go redeem your loss to Kevin Lee.
These quick turnarounds sometimes scare the shit out of me for some fighters.
Yeah. For Muhammad, I don't see that fight making any sense at all.
Yeah.
I think his wins weren't exciting. Sorry.
Yeah.
His wins weren't exciting, but he's still a top guy.
I mean, when you look at the rankings, I feel like it makes sense. Bilal's not very highly ranked, but
but he's on how long is his winning streak?
It's pretty long. Pretty long.
I feel like even though he may not be top 5, I think he is 5.
Who's that? Bilal?
No, where is he at?
Fuck no, he's not top 5.
Where is he at?
Shit, probably like 11.
Well, I think he should be considered top guy, not the top guy, but a top guy, simply for the fact that he's got such a long winning streak. I don't think fighting Kevin Lee does anything for him.
He's number 9.
9? Okay.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, Devin. 9? But no, I don't think Kevin Lee does anything for him.
Yeah.
There's zero gain out of that, and with Chiesa, there is gain. Now you're in the win column again if you win. So
yeah,
and it makes more sense for Chiesa, but it still makes no sense at all.
Yeah. So I think what it is for Kevin Lee though is why he's trying to get a fight, because not only does he want to fight, but he's probably he struggles to make weight.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably like, fuck, like I'm set to make this weight this day. Like I've planned ahead, and I don't want to have to extend that any longer and be drained. And I mean, it probably is. Maybe he just wants to get in a fight. Maybe.
Hey man, what's Cowboy doing?
Shit, fucking hopefully retired. Fucking make that fight happen. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? 2
guys who need a fight.
Yeah.
Need to win a fight.
That's a really bad fight for Cowboy.
Yeah, it is.
So stop it. He's already dead. So. But yeah, man. So that's about it.
Yeah, I feel like that one is interesting. Kevin Lee trying to get back in there. One more thing is that Jacare retired.
Oh yeah,
he's officially retired from MMA. Chad Mendez is moving to bare knuckle boxing. I don't know if we talked about that.
I think we talked about like in person about it a little bit.
Yeah. Other than that, that's UFC 265. PFL the next week or so is going to be really exciting. We're going to finally get to who these fighters are going to be in the finals. For everybody who's expecting it to be Clarissa Shields, I don't know what you're watching, but it must not be PFL. Other than that, what we got going on?
Did we talk about any guests coming up?
We got Carlos Nava, who won his last fight. He's now 2-0. He's looking to have his fight in September 18th. If you guys can go buy tickets online. If you go to his page at He Dreams Boxing, he'll have a link in his bio. When you select the fighter, make sure to pick Carlos Nava. He'll go 3-0 September 18th. We'll have him on pretty soon here.
He's about to fuck somebody up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you up on that fight whenever we have him, and we'll talk to you guys next time.